Beneath the crushing weight of the polar ice cap, a secret is kept. Down through 3 miles of frozen water, something is being preserved, or perhaps protected, from the world above. The geological record tells an undeniable truth. There was a time when Antarctica was not a desolate wasteland of white, but a vibrant, living continent, lush and green. The question, however, is not if, but when. And it is here that the inquiry becomes perilous. Was this verdant world lost in the mists of deep time, long before our species walked the earth? Or did it flourish within the lifetime of humanity itself? It is a notion that borders on heresy, a suggestion that a sophisticated civilization, a forgotten chapter of our own story, could have thrived on what is now the most inhospitable landmass on the planet. This audacious theory is anchored to a controversial geological hypothesis: Earth crust displacement. The concept imagines the entire outer crust of the planet, the lithosphere, as the loose skin of an orange. In a sudden catastrophic event, this skin might shift in one fluid motion, sliding over the molten mantle below, while the planet's core remains fixed on its axis. If such an event were possible, Antarctica was not always condemned to its polar prison. It could have once rested in more temperate latitudes, a climate hospitable to complex life, to forests, to animals, and perhaps to us. A continent bathed in temperate sunlight, violently repositioned to the bottom of the world, its golden age flash frozen into myth. Yet, within the halls of established science, such ideas are met with profound skepticism. The gradual, inexorable drift of plate tectonics, a process measured in centimeters per year, does not allow for such rapid, world-altering shifts. The theory is dismissed as speculation, lacking the solid geological evidence required for acceptance. But if the proof is not written in stone, advocates argue, perhaps it is written in story. They turn to the world's oldest myths, legends, and religious texts, interpreting them not as fiction, but as the fragmented, allegorical memories of a global trauma. The universal tales of a great flood, of a cataclysm that wiped the world clean, are seen as the echoes of a world undone by a planetary shift. And while the human story remains shrouded in debate, the continent's deeper past offers undeniable glimpses of its former glory. Deep within the transantarctic mountains, scientists have unearthed the ghosts of ancient forests, their wood turned to stone. 250 million years ago, during the Permian period, relatives of the modern ginkgo tree swayed gently under an Antarctic sun. This was a land stalked by predators. The foistum. Marine reptiles patrolled its shores, and a rich tapestry of plant life composed a landscape now lost to an eternity of ice. These plants, these petrified relics, are the silent witnesses to a history we can barely comprehend. They confirm a green Antarctica, a world of life at the pole. But they cannot answer the final, haunting question. Were they the only witnesses? Or did human eyes once gaze upon that same green shore before the world turned and the ice descended to bury all memory? Beneath the most hostile wilderness on Earth, where the very air can freeze the lungs, lies the ghost of a world we can no longer recognize. Here, in the heart of Antarctica, the ice itself is a monument to a forgotten age, and the rare, exposed rock faces provide compelling evidence. As scientific expeditions drill deep into the polar ice cap or scour the wind-blasted mountains, that pierce the
Most people stop watching right here. But if you continue, you'll discover something almost no one knows.
frozen expanse. They unearth something astonishing. They find the delicate, fossilized imprints of plants. These are not the hardy lichens of a frozen world, but the spectral remains of a lost paradise. Lush ferns, towering palms, and even ancient relatives of the mighty baobab tree. One must pause and imagine a landscape now defined by an endless white horizon, once dominated by a dense forest canopy, its air thick with humidity and alive with the sounds of rustling leaves. Among the most incredible of these discoveries is the fossil of Glossopteris. This ancient plant, characterized by its distinctive tongue-shaped leaves, flourished during the Permian period, some 300 million years ago. Its discovery here, at the bottom of the world, was a revelation. But the story became truly profound when identical Glossopteris fossils were unearthed on other, now distant southern continents, in South America, across Africa, and deep within the bedrock of India. This single plant became a geological Rosetta Stone, painting an undeniable tale of a time when these lands were one, joined together in the supercontinent Pangaea. The flora's story does not end there. Deeper layers of sediment, preserved for eons, have revealed microscopic clues, pollen and spores that speak to a breathtaking diversity of plant life. They tell of forests filled with giant horsetails and dense thickets of conifers. The Antarctic landscape, now a symbol of desolation, was once a vibrant haven, a cradle for a myriad of life. These remnants are far more than petrified wood and stone imprints. They are a direct portal, a tangible connection to an era when Antarctica was draped in green, its atmosphere heavy and warm, echoing with the lifeblood of a tropical world. To understand this transformation is to understand the very nature of our planet. The Earth, as we know it, is a fleeting snapshot in geological time. Continents that now lie oceans apart were once intimate neighbors, locked in a continental embrace. The engine of this planetary change is the theory of plate tectonics. It reveals that the Earth's crust is not a static shell, but a mosaic of colossal plates, constantly, albeit imperceptibly, moving upon a molten mantle. Over eons, this slow, inexorable dance has been responsible for the creation of mountain ranges, the birth of oceans, and the assembly and destruction of entire land masses. 300 million years ago, one of the most renowned of these supercontinents, Pangaea, held nearly all of the Earth's land in a single gigantic configuration. Our mysterious ice-bound continent was nestled comfortably within it, joined directly with the lands that would become South America, Africa, and Australia, far from the frigid isolation of the pole. The proof is written in the very bones of the continents. The rock formations found in the trans-Antarctic mountains have geological siblings in the Karoo Basin of South Africa and the Sierra de la Ventana of Argentina, suggesting they were all forged in the same mountain-building event as part of the same contiguous land. Then the Great Sundering began. Driven by the churning heat deep within the Earth's core, Pangaea began to fracture. Antarctica was cast adrift, beginning its lonely southward journey. As it drifted, millimeter by millimeter, over millions of years, its climate began to change. The warm equatorial currents that had once bathed its shores were deflected. The planet's atmospheric patterns shifted. The descent into an eternal winter had begun, leading inexorably to the formation of the vast, continent-spanning ice sheet we see today.
Stay with me, because what comes next has been hidden for a very long time, and only a few people know the truth behind it.
The ice that defines Antarctica is not an endpoint, but merely a chapter. It is a testament to the fact that our world is not a fixed stage, but a dynamic and ever-evolving protagonist in its own story. The forces of plate tectonics that carried a jungle to the South Pole continue their work today, silently crafting the history of a world that is yet to be born. The Earth is not a static canvas. It is a living, breathing entity, forever in a state of profound and ceaseless transformation. What we perceive as permanent is merely a fleeting moment in deep time, a single frame in an epic of unimaginable scale. Nowhere is this truth more starkly written than at the bottom of the world, in the vast, frozen expanse of Antarctica. Our modern conception of this continent is one of austere, brutal beauty, a realm of ice and silence, ruled by colonies of penguins and hauled-out seals, where the only human presence is the lonely silhouette of a scientist against an endless white horizon. But this image is a profound deception. To truly understand this land, one must strip away the ice, rewind the geological clock, and journey back to a world that defies imagination. Beneath the kilometers of frozen water lies the ghost of another Antarctica. The discovery of ancient fossils here has not merely added a footnote to history, it has rewritten the entire book. It paints a portrait of a polar paradise, a teeming, vibrant landscape where cold was a distant, alien concept. Imagine a world without ice. Instead, picture great forests, their canopies echoing with the calls of a diverse avian fauna. Envision vast floodplains where titanic creatures left their tracks in the soft, warm earth. Among the most spectacular of these apparitions from the past is Cryolophosaurus, a large theropod dinosaur, a formidable predator that stalked this land approximately 190 million years ago during the early Jurassic. Its name, the frozen crested lizard, is a modern irony, for it lived in a climate of temperate warmth. Its most striking feature was a unique forward-curving crest atop its head, a biological ornament whose purpose remains a subject of intense debate, perhaps for display, a signal to rivals or mates in a world saturated with life. Its existence is undeniable proof that the mightiest of Earth's dynasties once claimed this now frozen land as their own. The story was just as rich beneath the waves. The waters surrounding this ancient continent were not the frigid, iceberg-choked seas of today. They were warm, fertile, and teeming with leviathans. Elasmosaurs, marine reptiles of impossible dimension with serpentine necks longer than their entire bodies, cruised these ancient oceans. They shared this Domiko system speaks of a world in thermal equilibrium, a planet operating under a different set of rules. And then there were the forests. The evidence is not merely conjecture, it is etched in stone. Fossilized tree trunks, some with their rings still visible, tell of slow, seasonal growth over centuries. Microscopic grains of pollen, preserved for eons, allow us to reconstruct a lush, green lands. How could such a world vanish so completely? What cataclysmic turn of events could possibly lead from thriving forests and roaming dinosaurs to the most desolate, ice-bound wasteland on the planet? The answer lies in the slow, inexorable dance of the continents. 200 million years ago, Antarctica was not an isolated pole. It was a central piece of the supercontinent Gondwana, itself part of the Greater Pangaea. Nestled beside Australia, India, and South America, it sat much farther north, bathed in a climate that was mild, even subtropical. But the planetary pulse is relentless. The supercontinent began to fracture, and Antarctica commenced a solitary, multi-million-year journey southward. As it drifted, it became...
Welcome to my channel. If you're fascinated by hidden truths, lost civilizations, and unsolved mysteries, you're in the right place. Make sure to subscribe and leave a like so you don't miss what's coming next. Because what you're about to see will change everything.
Geographically and thermally isolated. The final, critical separation from South America and Australia, some 34 million years ago, was the tipping point. This opened a gateway for a new, powerful ocean current, the Antarctic Circumpolar Current. It began to flow unimpeded around the continent, a vast, circular river, creating a thermal fortress, a moat of frigid water that prevented warmer equatorial currents from reaching its shores. The continent was locked in a deep freeze. This geological isolation was compounded by a change in the very air. Atmospheric levels of carbon dioxide, the greenhouse gas that traps the planet's heat, began to fall. With less of this thermal blanket, the Earth's overall temperature dropped, accelerating the formation of ice. The green world was buried. The age of dinosaurs gave way, slowly, glacially, to the age of ice. Antarctica thus serves as a profound testament to the planet's dynamic history. It is a reminder that the world we inhabit is not a final state, but a temporary arrangement. Buried deep beneath the ice, the secrets of a lost, warmer world await. A silent, frozen library of what was, and a chilling prophecy of what could, one day, be again. In the vast, silent expanse at the bottom of the world, a profound transformation is underway. Here, where ice has reigned for millions of years, the inexorable advance of a warming planet is making its presence felt. The human signature on the global climate, once a distant theory, is now a measurable force, and nowhere is its power more apparent than in the polar regions. The question that now echoes across these frozen plains is no longer if things will change, but how. Could the ghost of Antarctica's ancient past be a preview of its impending future? Today, the accelerated retreat of its colossal glaciers is an undeniable reality. While the prospect of a lush, forested continent re-emerging within our lifetimes remains remote, the current trajectory signals a monumental shift. Should these warming trends persist, we are poised to witness a reduction in Antarctic ice on a scale unseen in human history. This is not merely a local event. The melting of this continent is a global trigger. Its consequences ripple outward, fueling a slow, inexorable rise of the world's oceans, redrawing the maps of our coastlines, and fundamentally altering the weather patterns that govern life across the planet. For the unique species that have adapted to this extreme environment, it is an existential threat, a loss of habitat that spells extinction. Yet within this unfolding catastrophe lies a strange and compelling opportunity. As the ice recedes, it has been a world long lost. Scientists are gaining access to astonishingly well-preserved fossils, the mineralized remains of ancient forests and the creatures that roamed them. Each discovery is a page from a forgotten history book, a glimpse into an Eocene epoch when this frozen desert was a temperate swampland fringed with palm trees. These remnants of a warmer Earth are more than mere curiosities. They are vital data points, helping us to calibrate our understanding of the planet's climate systems and, in turn, to refine our predictions for its future. As we gaze upon this immense wilderness of ice, we are confronted with the profound impermanence of its current state. Antarctica stands as a monument to the Earth's dynamic, restless nature, its capacity to transform over geological eons. But our recent and dramatic influence on the climate has thrown this natural rhythm into chaos. The pace of change, once measured in millennia, is now being tested on the scale of centuries, even decades. But the secrets emerging from the ice are not confined to the deep past. Beyond the fossil record, other, more unsettling questions are beginning to surface. The continent has long been a canvas for human imagination, a source of intrigue and speculation. For some, its icy shield conceals not just geological wonders, but perhaps the greatest archaeological prize of all: lost civilizations, buried and forgotten. This extraordinary theory is fueled by satellite imagery revealing vast, perplexing features deep beneath the ice. Structures of uncanny symmetry, geometric shapes that seem to defy natural explanation. While the scientific consensus attributes these anomalies to geological processes, the tantalizing idea of ancient human settlements, frozen in time at the pole, continues to captivate. A discovery of this magnitude would not simply add a chapter to our story. It would force a complete rewriting of human history and our understanding of our ancestors' capabilities. Adding another layer to the enigma are the quiet pilgrimages of the world's elite. In recent years, world leaders, tech billionaires, and influential figures have made discreet journeys to this desolate landscape, often with little public explanation. These visits have ignited a firestorm of speculation.
And now comes the part no one talks about. But this is where the real mystery begins.
Are they simply bearing witness to the front line of climate change? Or do secret meetings and undisclosed scientific endeavors unfold far from the public eye? For some, these trips hint at something more profound, a hidden agenda connected to the continent's unique status and its emerging secrets. At the heart of it all lies a fundamental force that has long puzzled scientists. Antarctica is a realm of powerful and unpredictable magnetic anomalies. These strange fluctuations in the Earth's magnetic field can disrupt the most sophisticated instruments, a constant reminder that there are elemental forces at play here that we do not fully comprehend. Antarctica, therefore, is more than a continent. It is a mirror reflecting our planet's distant past and a harbinger of its potential future. It is a planetary memory bank and a laboratory for the changes we have wrought. It is a final frontier, not in the stars.
If you think you've seen everything, wait. What comes next will turn everything upside down.
But here on Earth, a place of both scientific certainty and profound, unanswered questions. In its silent, icy depths, it holds the story of what our world once was, and in its melting, it presents a stark, undeniable warning of what it may become. Beneath the immense, silent weight of the Antarctic ice sheet, the Earth's fundamental forces behave in ways that defy our understanding. A subtle, invisible tapestry of magnetism, which should flow with predictable grace, is here inexplicably warped. In certain regions, the planet's magnetic field exhibits profound and startling variations, anomalies that cannot be reconciled with the known geology of the continental crust. These are not minor fluctuations, but deep, powerful deviations, as if some immense, unseen object were disrupting the natural order from below. The data points to vast metallic masses buried deep within the crust, or perhaps, as some have dared to speculate, the architectural remains of a forgotten age, entombed by millions of years of ice. The whispers are not merely geological. Researchers, huddled in their isolated stations, have recorded sounds emanating from the deep ice, a symphony of groans, whistles, and haunting resonant frequencies that travel for miles through the frozen expanse. The rational mind finds its answer in natural phenomena. The shriek of wind funneling through newly formed crevasses, the colossal groan of ice sheets grinding against bedrock. It is the sound of a continent in constant, slow-motion flux. Yet the ear and the imagination hear something else. They hear a voice, an otherworldly lament from a world that should be defined by its absolute silence. This profound isolation, this palpable sense of otherness, has long made Antarctica a canvas for human myth. It is the last frontier not only of geography, but of legend. Tales of secret entrances to a hollow earth, of clandestine bases shielded from the world's gaze, of encounters with beings not of this world, all find fertile ground in the continent's unending white wilderness. While such stories belong to the realm of folklore, they speak to a deeper truth, that this land challenges our perception of the possible. But the most profound enigma of Antarctica is not one of hidden bases or alien encounters. It is a secret whispered not by the wind, but by the very rock beneath the ice. For when we gaze upon this landscape of stark, brutal beauty, we are seeing only a single frame in a much grander film. We see a world of ice and snow, a kingdom of frozen time. The fossil record, however, tells a different story, a story of a green and vibrant past buried for an eternity. 90 million years ago, during the late Cretaceous period, this was not a polar desert. It was a temperate rainforest, teeming and vibrant. The climate was dramatically warmer, and along the coastlines of what would one day be West Antarctica, lush forests flourished under the soft, perpetual light of a polar summer. Towering conifers, relatives of today's pines, reached for a sky undimmed by ice. A dense understory of ferns and the first pioneering flowering plants carpeted the forest floor. The air was not a blade of cold, but a humid breath, thick with the scent of damp earth and decaying leaves. The evidence for this lost paradise is irrefutable, preserved with impossible fidelity within the stone. In the Transantarctic mountains, scientists have unearthed entire fossilized forests. They have found the ghostly imprint of a leaf, its veins perfectly preserved after 90 million years. They have held the stone-hard heartwood of a tree that last saw the sun in the age of dinosaurs. These fossils paint a vivid, breathtaking picture of a landscape as biologically diverse as any modern forest, a world teeming with insects and other larger life. For these ancient forests were not empty. Paleontologists have also unearthed the remnants of the creatures that called this green Antarctica home. The bones of dinosaurs, the fossilized vertebrae of immense marine reptiles that patrolled the coastal waters, the delicate skeletons of ancient fish. Each fragment is a single word in a lost language, telling the story of an ecosystem as complex and complete as any on Earth today. But to read this ancient text is an act of near impossible endurance. Unearthing these remnants requires painstaking excavation in the most hostile environment on the planet. Here, humanity is a fleeting, fragile presence. Scientists battle gale-force katabatic winds that can tear a camp to shreds.
If you think you've seen everything, wait. What comes next will turn everything upside down.
Cold so profound it can fracture steel. Every tool, every meal, every drop of fuel is part of a logistical ballet performed at the edge of the world. Every discovery is therefore a triumph, not just of science, but of the human spirit. It is a shard of a forgotten world, wrested from the planet's deepest freeze. These fossils offer more than just a glimpse into a bygone era. They are a unique window into the mechanics of our world, a testament to the Earth's capacity for radical transformation. The unexplained anomalies and strange sounds of today may be the fleeting mysteries of a single moment. But the true mystery of Antarctica is one of deep time, a story of fire and ice, of life and extinction, of a world that can be born and die and be born again. The ice does not forget. It merely waits for a warmth and a curiosity strong enough to ask the right questions. In a time before our own, the continents drifted in an unfamiliar dance and intricate tapestry of Earth's geological evolution, its biological diversity, and the forces that govern our world today. Our search for answers leads us to the most desolate place on the planet, to a secret held captive by ice. Deep beneath the crushing weight of the East Antarctic ice sheet, a geological marvel lies in silent repose, the Gamburtsev Mountains. It is a phantom range, a colossal spine of rock comparable in scale to the European Alps, yet completely concealed from the sun. Its peaks and valleys are entombed under a frozen ocean, an ice sheet often more than 2 miles thick. Their discovery, during a Soviet expedition in the 1950s, was a revelation that defied all logic. As scientists traversed the vast, featureless expanse of the polar plateau, their instruments registered an impossible anomaly. Beneath them, where there should have been only flat, ancient bedrock, a ghost image appeared, the jagged profile of a massive buried mountain range. The findings sent shockwaves through the geological community, sparking a curiosity that has endured for decades. The very existence of the Gamburtsevs is a profound geological puzzle. Most of the world's great mountain ranges, the Himalayas, the Andes, the Rockies, are born of fire and pressure at the violent edges of tectonic plates where continents collide. But the Gamburtsevs are different. They are located in the heart of a continental craton, a stable and ancient piece of crust, far from the tectonic battlegrounds where mountains are typically forged. How could such a monumental range? Scientists have wrestled with this question, proposing theories that span immense gulfs of time. One hypothesis suggests the mountains are an ancient relic born over 1 billion years ago during the assembly of the supercontinent Rodinia. In this scenario, they were once exposed to the sky, but were later preserved, flash frozen by the unique geological conditions of Antarctica, which shielded them from the erosion that wears all mountains down. Another theory points to a more recent, more violent origin. It posits that a series of continental collisions, or perhaps a massive upwelling of magma from the Earth's mantle, a thermal plume pushing up from the planet's core, rejuvenated the crust, thrusting the range upward before the great ice sheet descended to entomb it. Exploring this hidden world presents almost insurmountable challenges. Conventional geology, with its hammers and field maps, is useless here. To pierce the icy veil, researchers must rely on cutting-edge technology. They employ ice-penetrating radar, sending radio waves deep into the frozen expanse and listening for the echoes that bounce back from the rock below. They use seismic imaging, creating artificial earthquakes to map the contours of the buried topography. These tools have offered tantalizing glimpses of sharp peaks and deep, glacially carved valleys, but much of the range remains a mystery. Yet, the study of the Gamburtsev Mountains is far more than an academic curiosity. It holds profound implications for understanding the fundamental processes that shape our world. These mountains are believed to be the birthplace of the colossal East Antarctic ice sheet, the very point where the first ice crystals began to accumulate millions of years ago. By uncovering their secrets, scientists gain crucial insights into the dynamics of ice sheets and the history of global climate change. Locked within the ice that blankets the range is one of the planet's most precious archives. Each layer contains trapped bubbles of ancient atmosphere, a frozen record of Earth's past climate. Drilling into this ice library offers clues not only to our past, but to the future behavior of Antarctica's ice and its catastrophic potential to impact global sea levels. The Gamburtsev Mountains are a stark reminder of the awe-inspiring complexity of our planet. Hidden from sight, they challenge our perception of the world as a fully mapped and understood sphere. They are a testament to the fact that even in an age of satellites and ceaseless exploration, Earth still holds secrets of an almost unimaginable scale, waiting in the dark, beneath the ice, for the curious to find them. They force us to confront a humbling truth, that the world we walk upon is merely a surface, and its deepest stories are often the ones it has yet to tell.
And now comes the part no one talks about. But this is where the real mystery begins.
Beneath the immense, silent weight of the East Antarctic ice sheet, under 4 kilometers of solid, ancient ice, lies a lost world. This is Lake Vostok, one of the largest and most profound mysteries on our planet. It is a liquid heart, sealed in a sepulchre of ice for more than 15 million years, a realm untouched by the sun, unbothered by the shifting winds of the surface. Its isolation is nearly absolute, preserving a primordial environment that has ignited the imagination of scientists and explorers. For it is a ghost of a world that may exist elsewhere in our solar system. Here, in this abyssal darkness, the conditions are alien. The pressure is a crushing 400 times greater than at sea level, and the temperature hovers perpetually below freezing. This combination of factors has created a laboratory for life at its most extreme, forcing a re-evaluation of the very definition of habitable. Scientists believe Vostok may be our closest terrestrial analog to the subglacial oceans suspected to exist on Jupiter's moon, Europa, or Saturn's Enceladus. If life can persist here, in this cold, pressurized prison, then perhaps it can persist there. The lake may shelter microbial organisms that have evolved in utter isolation, a lineage of life completely separate from our own, feeding on minerals from the rock bed in a world without light or photosynthesis. To pierce this shield and touch these waters is one of the greatest technological challenges of our time. The journey downward is a slow, painstaking descent through ice that is itself a priceless archive. Each layer represents a season, each meter a millennium. Trapped within this frozen library are bubbles of ancient atmosphere, a chronological record of Earth's climate stretching back hundreds of thousands of years. From this ice, we have reconstructed the planet's past, charting the ebb and flow of ice ages and gaining critical insight into the climatic shifts that await our future. The Russian Vostok Station, a lonely outpost in the coldest place on Earth, stands vigil directly above the lake. For decades, its scientists pursued the audacious goal of reaching the water without corrupting it. The threat of irreversible contamination, of introducing surface microbes into this pristine ecosystem, haunted every moment of the operation. Finally, in the year 2012, after years of meticulous drilling, their drill bit broke through. They had touched the surface of the hidden ocean. Yet, the secrets of Vostok are not surrendered easily. The few samples retrieved offer tantalizing, ambiguous clues, fragments of DNA, hints of microbial metabolism. But a complete...
Stay with me, because what comes next has been hidden for a very long time, and only a few people know the truth behind it.
Portrait of this ecosystem remains elusive, locked away in the vast, dark waters, a world we have found but cannot yet truly see. While Vostok remains
This is where things get really interesting. What you're about to hear might explain why this was never meant to be discovered.
a ghost beneath the ice, another of Antarctica's secrets bleeds into the open. In the remote, otherworldly landscape of the McMurdo Dry Valleys, a place of stone and ice where life seems impossible, the Taylor Glacier weeps. From a fissure in its icy face, a 5-story waterfall pours forth, staining the stark white landscape with a shocking, visceral crimson. This is Blood Falls. For decades, its origin was a puzzle, a surreal spectacle in a desolate land. The unsettling color we now know is not blood, but chemistry. It is the signature of an iron-rich brine, emerging from a subglacial reservoir and instantly oxidizing, rusting, upon contact with the air for the first time in nearly 2 million years. The source of this flow is a time capsule. Trapped beneath the glacier lies a small, incredibly salty lake, an environment so devoid of oxygen it is an anachronism. Within this dark, briny pocket, an ancient community of microbes has survived, cut off from the world. Without sunlight to power them, they have evolved a unique metabolism, breathing not oxygen but sulfate, and metabolizing the abundant iron in the bedrock. The Blood Falls are the exhalation of this hidden ecosystem, a visible sign of a form of life that thrives in conditions we would consider utterly inhospitable. These hidden worlds, Vostok and the lake beneath the Taylor Glacier, are not merely scientific curiosities. They are profound reminders that our planet still holds deep mysteries, that life is more resilient, more strange, and more tenacious than we ever imagined. They teach us that even in the most profound darkness, under the most crushing pressure, in the deepest cold, life finds a way. The search for these elusive ecosystems is a mirror to our own quest for understanding, a journey into the dark to find a spark of life, proving that the most desolate places in our world, and perhaps others, are not empty after all. They are merely waiting. Upon the vast white canvas of the Taylor Glacier in Antarctica, a wound appears to weep. A crimson stain, 5 stories high, pours slowly from a fissure in the ice, bleeding out onto the frozen lake below. This is Blood Falls, a spectacle as alien as it is unsettling. For over a century, its origin was a mystery, a stark anomaly in a monochromatic world. But the truth is stranger than any fiction. This is not blood. It is the outflow of a world locked away from our own for more than 1 million years. Beneath the colossal weight of the ice lies a subglacial lake, a pocket of ancient seawater trapped in absolute darkness, cut off from sunlight and the atmosphere. Here, in the extreme cold and crushing pressure, in a brine 3 times saltier than the ocean, life endures. A microbial community, a ghost ecosystem, thrives in conditions once believed to be utterly inhospitable. These are the extremophiles, organisms that have rewritten the very definition of survival. They have evolved unique biochemical pathways, breathing not oxygen, but iron, metabolizing sulfates in the brine to sustain their existence. The rust-red color of the falls is the final signature of this hidden biology, the iron within the water oxidizing instantly upon contact with the air, a testament to the life pulsing in the dark below. The study of these life forms has opened a profound new chapter in the human quest for understanding. They are a window into the sheer tenacity of life, a clue that suggests the cosmos may be far less empty than we imagine. As scientists unravel the secrets of this shadow biosphere, they find a potential blueprint for life on other worlds, in the subsurface oceans of Jupiter's moon Europa, or the briny aquifers suspected to lie beneath the frozen soil of Mars. Yet, to touch this world is to risk destroying it. The exploration of blood falls is fraught with challenges. Drilling into the ancient ice requires specialized, sterile equipment to avoid contaminating an ecosystem that has been pristine for eons. Researchers must walk a fine line, balancing the insatiable desire.
Stay with me, because what comes next has been hidden for a very long time, and only a few people know the truth behind it.
To uncover the mysteries of this lost world, with the solemn duty to preserve its delicate, ancient balance. But the ice of Antarctica does not only conceal biological wonders, it may also guard the secrets of our own past. Secrets etched not on stone, but on fragile, aging parchment. In the year 1513, in the bustling heart of the Ottoman Empire, a cartographer and admiral named Piri Reis compiled a map of the known world. This historical artifact has since captivated scholars, historizable knowledge. Skeptics dismiss its anomalies as the fanciful inventions of map makers, the product of myth and misinterpretation. Yet, a closer look reveals a document that defies easy explanation. The Piri Reis map is renowned for its astonishing precision, particularly in its depiction of coastlines that were, at the time, barely charted by Europeans. The eastern coast of South America and the islands of the Caribbean are outlined with a fidelity that far surpasses many contemporary maps of the era. The Brazilian coastline is not a crude approximation, but a detailed rendering, complete with river inlets and capes that other cartographers either overlooked or misrepresented entirely. The map is a living document, filled with annotations that offer a rich historical context. These notes are not just practical, detailing crucial information about ocean currents and safe harbors. They are ethnographic, offering rare insights into the first encounters between European sailors and the indigenous populations of the New World. It even ventures into the realm of the mythical, with depictions of legendary islands and sea creatures that speak to the folklore and anxieties of a great age of discovery. Perhaps the most confounding aspect of the Piri Reis map, however, is what it shows at the very bottom of the world. There, a vast southern landmass is depicted, connected to South America by a narrow isthmus. This is a continent mapped over 3 centuries before the official discovery of Antarctica by a Russian expedition in 1820. But the mystery deepens. The coastline shown is not the sheer ice cliff we know today. The portrayal includes detailed geographical features, mountain ranges, bays, and river inlets that bear a striking, almost chilling resemblance to the subglacial topography of Antarctica. It appears to show the continent as it might look without its colossal ice sheet. We are confronted with hints and clues that something profound is missing from our story of the past. How could a 16th century mapmaker possess knowledge of a landscape buried beneath 2 miles of ice? A landscape our own science only began to chart with seismic echo-sounding technology in the 20th century. The map and the microbes of Blood Falls tell 2 sides of the same story. They speak of a hidden Antarctica, a continent of secrets. One holds a living world, sealed in time, challenging our understanding of biology. The other holds a potential historical record, sealed by ice, challenging our understanding of our own history. The answers to both the origins of life and the forgotten chapters of human civilization may lie waiting in the same place, beneath the ice, at the bottom of the world. In the year 1513, the Ottoman admiral and cartographer Piri Reis compiled a map of the world. It was a work of remarkable detail for its time, drawn upon gazelle skin parchment. But within its intricate lines lies a profound enigma, a geographical feature that should not exist. The map depicts a southern coastline, a landmass that corresponds with uncanny accuracy to the continent of Antarctica. Yet it is an Antarctica free of its immense ice cap, a continent of flowing rivers and green shores. This depiction is a stark impossibility according to the established timeline of human discovery. The Antarctic continent was not officially sighted until 1820, and its true subglacial topography remained a complete mystery until the age of advanced seismic sounding equipment in the mid-20th century. The Piri Reis map, however, presents this ice-free coast centuries before its supposed discovery. The admiral himself made no claim of original exploration. Instead, he noted that his work was a synthesis, a composite derived from more than 20 older source maps, some of which he claimed dated back to the time of Alexander the Great. This admission opens a captivating and deeply unsettling chapter in our understanding of the past. It suggests that Piri Reis may have had access to a cartographic legacy of astonishing antiquity and precision. The theory that emerges from this anomaly is as radical as it is compelling, that the admiral's source charts were themselves copies of even older documents, perhaps originating from a pre-glacial era, crafted by a sophisticated maritime civilization long vanished from the Earth. Such a hypothesis does not merely challenge our historical timelines, it demands a re-evaluation of human capability in the deep past. To navigate the globe and chart its continents with such precision would require a profound mastery of astronomy, of mathematics, and of physics. It would necessitate a technology for determining longitude that was not officially invented until the 18th century.
Stay with me, because what comes next has been hidden for a very long time, and only a few people know the truth behind it.
Level of proficiency is evident in other ancient societies renowned for their celestial prowess, such as the Maya, and the dynastic Egyptians, whose astronomical alignments remain a testament to their advanced knowledge. Furthermore, a silent, global conversation conducted in stone seems to connect disparate ancient cultures. The appearance of pyramidal structures in both Mesoamerica and Egypt hints at a possible global interaction, a network of knowledge facilitated by unparalleled seafaring skills. It becomes necessary to consider the possibility of a remote common ancestor, a single progenitor civilization that passed down a corpus of knowledge, a legacy inherited in fragments by later cultures across the globe. These connections, from shared architectural concepts to cosmological myths, could indicate that these societies were all drawing from the same deep well of forgotten wisdom, which may have included cartographic information of the entire planet. Inevitably, such conversations lead to the most contentious name in speculative archaeology: Atlantis. For mainstream scholarship, the word is anathema, the legend dismissed as a simple allegorical tale from Plato. Yet for those exploring the possibility of a lost seafaring culture, Plato's story of a technologically advanced island nation, lost to the sea in a single day and night of misfortune, serves as a powerful archetype. While archaeologists have insisted that Atlantis could never have existed, often without examining the very parts of the world that would need to be surveyed, the narrative provides a metaphorical framework. It allows us to conceptualize what a real, yet undiscovered advanced maritime society. But the search for evidence is not confined to myth or contested maps. On the Anatolian plains of modern-day Turkey, a discovery has been unearthed that irrevocably alters our perception of the ancient world. It is called Göbekli Tepe. Dated to nearly 12,000 years ago, it predates the invention of pottery, writing, and even agriculture. Here, hunter-gatherers erected massive, T-shaped megalithic pillars, some weighing many tons, and carved them with intricate reliefs. The site demonstrates a level of social organization, engineering, and astronomical alignment that was thought impossible for its time. Göbekli Tepe is proof that high culture existed thousands of years earlier than previously believed. The map, the ruins, the myths, they are all fragments. They are echoes from a past far more complex and mysterious than our conventional histories allow. They suggest that history is not a straight line of progress, but perhaps a cycle of rising and falling, of knowledge gained and tragically lost. The greatest undiscovered country may not lie across an ocean, but buried deep within the annals of our own forgotten history. Beneath the sun-scorched earth of southeastern Anatolia, a secret has been sleeping for millennia. Ground-penetrating radar reveals the contours of vast, circular enclosures, still buried, still waiting. The story of Göbekli Tepe is only just beginning. Dated to more than 10,000 years ago, this sprawling sanctuary of carved megaliths rewrites the very first chapter of human civilization. Its sophisticated T-shaped pillars, alive with intricate carvings of predators and strange symbols, rose from the bedrock 6 millennia before the first stone was laid at Stonehenge, 4 millennia before the invention of the wheel. This discovery does not merely add a new date to our timeline. It shatters the timeline itself. It forces us to confront the staggering possibility that complex ritual, abstract thought, and monumental architecture were not the products of settled agricultural life, but perhaps its very cause. The sheer complexity of Göbekli Tepe hints at a society far more advanced than previously imagined. It suggests organized labor, shared cosmology, and a deep understanding of engineering. It whispers of lost systems of knowledge, of people who may have navigated by the stars and mapped their world in ways we are only now beginning to comprehend. This single site compels us to reconsider the entire sequence of megalithic construction across the globe, asking not if ancient peoples were advanced, but how advanced they truly were. The mystery deepens as we move from the high Turkish plateau to the depths of the Pacific. Off the coast of Japan lies another enigma, the Yonaguni Monument. Here, submerged beneath 60 feet of water, are haunting geometric forms, terraces, steps,
This is where things get really interesting. What you're about.
and towering walls, all arranged with an unnerving precision. Fiercely debated by geologists and archaeologists, the question lingers in the silent blue world. Are these the dramatic but natural products of seismic activity, or are they the handiwork of man? If they are man-made, they represent the specter of a sunken civilization, a coastal culture swallowed by the rising seas at the end of the last ice age. They would be evidence of a people with sophisticated maritime capabilities, a society that understood the sea not as a barrier, but as a highway. Such underwater discoveries fuel a profound curiosity, challenging the limits of what we thought prehistoric humanity could achieve. It is a fascinating exercise to consider how these tangible, physical discoveries might be the very bedrock of our most enduring myths. Perhaps the legends of seafaring gods and world-spanning are not mere flights of fancy. They could be cultural memories, fractured and distorted by time, echoes of real historical figures from a globally connected ancient world. A world whose maps and monuments now lie buried beneath earth and water. Sometimes, a fragment of that lost world threatens to resurface. The Vinland map, which emerged into the public eye in the 20th century, purports to be a product of the mid-15th century. Its most explosive feature is a shockingly clear depiction of Vinlanda Insula, an island corresponding to the northeast coast of North America. This would mean it was drawn half a century before Columbus ever set sail, a testament to the Norse explorations around the year 1000. Yet the map is a cartographic ghost, haunted by controversy. Scientific tests on its ink and parchment have yielded conflicting, passionately debated results, adding thick layers of mystery to its story. If genuine, it is a document that redraws our understanding of the Age of Discovery. But the quest for a global vision was not a solely European endeavor. To understand the past, we must look at all of its maps. Crafted in the year 1402, during Korea's Joseon dynasty, the Kangnido map predates both the Piri Reis and the purported Vinland maps. It is a stunning depiction of the known world from an East Asian perspective. It presents a vastly oversized China at its center, a recognizable Arabian Peninsula, and even a speculative, truncated vision of southern Africa. The Kangnido is more than just a map. It is a geopolitical statement, reflecting the dynasty's profound interest in geography as a tool for trade, diplomacy, and understanding its place in a wider world. It is a quiet testament to the fact that the desire to chart the unknown was a universal human impulse. From the carved pillars of Anatolia to the sunken stones of Japan, from contested parchments to the grand maps of Eastern empires, these are not isolated puzzles. They are fragments of a single, sprawling narrative of human ingenuity and forgotten history. They suggest that our ancestors were more connected, more knowledgeable, and their world more anciently explored than we have ever dared to believe. Perhaps progress is not a straight line, but a cycle of discovery, loss, and rediscovery. And perhaps the greatest unknown territory is not a distant continent, but the vast, uncharted landscape of our own past. While some ancient charts fade into the mists of controversy, their authenticity debated in hushed academic circles, others stand as unassailable cartographic testaments. The Cannedo map is one such monument. It is a creation well documented, its historical value recognized, offering a precise reflection of Asian geographical knowledge at the dawn of the 15th century. Here, on silk, is a vision of the world that speaks not only of sophisticated surveying and artistry, but of a deeply interconnected globe, bound by the ceaseless currents of trade, the daring of explorers, and the shared echoes of mythology that traveled along the Silk Road. To gaze upon a map is to peer into the mind of a civilization. It is a unique artifact, revealing the geopolitical anxieties and philosophical certainties of its creators. This is nowhere more apparent than in the imperial workshops of the early Ming dynasty. The Da Ming Hunyi Tu, the amalgamated map of the Great Ming Empire, is a breathtaking declaration of this principle. Unfurled, it presents a world from a profoundly Chinese perspective. At its heart lies the vast, ordered expanse of the Ming Empire, the center of the civilized world. From this core, the known world radiates outwards, detailing the Korean peninsula, flowing across Asia, and extending to the distant shores of Africa and even Europe. The techniques employed were revolutionary for their era. While European cartography was often a patchwork of inconsistent scales and artistic license, the Ming mapmakers utilized sophisticated grid systems, striving for a consistency that lent their work an almost modern, scientific authority. But its purposely of maritime exploration, the Ming map was a tool of imperial administration. Its focus was on the solid earth, on land masses, on political frontiers, on the tangible boundaries of power. It was a world rendered not in the fluid lines of maritime ambition, but in the stark terrestrial calculus of governance and control. Centuries later, the human impulse to map the unknown would turn to the last great blank space on the globe, Antarctica. In the shadow of a global war, the United States launched Operation High Jump, an undertaking of unprecedented scale. This was to be more than an expedition. It was a full-scale military deployment to the bottom of the world. Over 4,700 military personnel underwent a grueling baptism by ice, a rigorous training regimen designed to harden them against the planet's most unforgiving conditions. The operation became a crucible for the very limits of technology, testing every stitch of specialized clothing, every component of a heating system, ensuring that man and machine could function as one in the relentless Antarctic environment. The technological leap was nothing short of revolutionary. For the first time, helicopters and fixed-wing aircraft became the workhorses of a major polar expedition, utterly transforming the logistics of operating on the ice. A vast fleet of snow tractors, M29 Weasel cargo carriers, aircraft and naval ships was not merely tested, but proven against the polar climate, gathering invaluable data for all future cold weather operations. But beyond the hum of engines and the crunch of snow, a different objective was taking shape. As the world began to fracture into the new realities of the Cold War, Project High Jump was a clear statement of geopolitical intent. To establish a formidable American presence in Antarctica was a strategic move, a demonstration of capability and a claim of interest in the world's last unclaimed continent. It was an exercise in navigating the complex, frozen terrain of international law and high-stakes diplomacy. The operation's immense scale and its partially classified nature would inevitably give rise to darker, more esoteric interpretations. For some, the sheer force assembled suggested a purpose beyond mere science or strategic positioning. Whispers began to circulate of a spiritual war being waged in the silence at the end of the Earth, a confrontation with forces hidden beneath the ice. Ultimately, from the silk scrolls of a Ming palace to the windswept ice fields of the Antarctic, the story is the same. The act of mapping, whether with ink or with armies, has always been a profound human endeavor. It is the process of imposing order upon chaos, of defining the known against the vastness of the unknown. It is the drawing of lines, not only upon the surface of the Earth, but within the landscape of the human imagination itself. 300 million years in the past, the Earth was an alien world. A single colossal landmass dominated the globe, a supercontinent we call Pangaea. And nestled within this great puzzle of rock and life was a land yet to be named, a green heartland that would one day become our most mysterious continent, Antarctica. It was bound fast to the lands we now know as South America, Africa, and Australia, a contiguous part of a vibrant whole. The proof of this ancient union is not written in any book, but etched into the very bones of the planet. Geologists, reading the story of deep time, find the clues in stone. The rock formations of Antarctica's mountains bear an uncanny resemblance to those found across the vast oceans in South America and the sun-scorched landscapes of Africa. They are geological siblings, born from the same volcanic fires and sedimentary pressures, their matching strata a definitive fingerprint of a time when they were one. Beneath the Earth,
Most people stop watching right here. But if you continue, you'll discover something almost no one knows.
crust, the planet's molten heart churned, and the slow, inexorable grind of tectonic plates began to tear the world apart. Antarctica was set adrift, beginning a solitary, multi-million-year journey toward the South Pole. As it traveled, its destiny was rewritten. The climate, once temperate and life-giving, began a slow, catastrophic descent into cold. The world we recognize today, a planet of isolated continents and vast oceans, was being forged, and Antarctica was being condemned to an eternity of ice. To picture this continent today is to conjure images of an unforgiving wilderness of white, a realm of penguins and seals, governed by the howl of the wind. But to travel back in time is to witness a world utterly transformed. The fossil record, painstakingly excavated from the frozen rock, reveals a polar paradise. It paints a staggering portrait of a teeming, thriving landscape where cold was a stranger. Here, dense forests echoed with the calls of primeval birds, and great rivers flowed into temperate seas. This was a world ruled by a radically different cast of characters. Among the most astonishing discoveries was the predator Cryolophosaurus, the frozen crested lizard. Uncovered from the frozen strata of the trans-Antarctic mountains, this large theropod dinosaur, with a unique bony crest adorning its head, roamed this land some 190 million years ago. Its very existence is a paradox, a formidable hunter thriving in a world that would one day become the coldest place on Earth. It was not alone. The land supported a complex web of life, a vibrant ecosystem now buried beneath thousands of feet of ice. The waters surrounding this ancient continent were just as alive. The frigid Southern Ocean of today was once a warm, welcoming sea. Here, colossal marine reptiles held sway. Elasmosaurs, serpentine giants with impossibly long necks, patrolled the depths, hunting alongside an ocean rich with nutrients and warmth, a world away from the iceberg-choked waters of the present. And on the land, where today nothing but ice and rock can be seen, great forests once stood. Fossilized tree trunks, some vast in their dimensions, and microscopic grains of ancient pollen tell an undeniable story. They speak of a lush green landscape, perhaps akin to the temperate rainforests of modern-day New Zealand, a world of ferns and ancient conifers reaching for a sun that shone for months on end. What cataclysmic turn of events, what slow planetary shift could lead from this thriving world of roofing dinosaurs and verdant forests to the barren, icy wasteland we see today? The Earth holds its secrets close, but Antarctica serves as its most profound testament to change. It is more than a continent. It is a frozen library of lost worlds, a poignant reminder that nothing is permanent. The ice is not an ending, but an archive, preserving the memory of life, death, and rebirth on a planetary scale. It reminds us that our world is forever in flux, a story still being written, its past a ghostly blueprint for a future we cannot yet imagine. 200 million years ago, this continent was an unrecognizable world. As a verdant piece of the supercontinent Pangaea, Antarctica lay much farther north, bathed in a temperate climate. But the Earth is a restless architect. As the great landmass began to fracture, Antarctica embarked on a slow, inexorable journey to the bottom of the world. With this epic migration came a profound isolation and a deep, encroaching cold. By 34 million years ago, a critical threshold was crossed. The first great ice sheets began to claim the land, a planetary transformation from a world of forests to a realm of ice. This freezing was not an accident of geography alone. As the continent tore away from South America and Australia, a powerful new ocean current was born, the Antarctic Circumpolar Current. It forged a thermal fortress, a perpetual ring of frigid water that locked the continent in a frozen embrace, deflecting the warmth of equatorial seas. At the same time, the planet's thermostat was turning down. Atmospheric carbon dioxide levels plummeted, stripping the air of its heat-trapping blanket and accelerating the inexorable advance of the ice. Today, a new chapter is being written.
This is where things get really interesting. What you're about to hear might explain why this was never meant to be discovered. Stay with me, because what comes next has been hidden for a very long time, and only a few people know the truth behind it.
Threshold was crossed. The first great ice sheets began to claim the land, a planetary transformation from a world of forests to a realm of ice. This freezing was not an accident of geography alone. As the continent tore away from South America and Australia, a powerful new ocean current was born, the Antarctic Circumpolar Current. It forged a thermal fortress, a perpetual ring of frigid water that locked the continent in a frozen embrace, deflecting the warmth of equatorial seas. At the same time, the planet's thermostat was turning down. Atmospheric carbon dioxide levels plummeted, stripping the air of its heat-trapping blanket and accelerating the inexorable advance of the ice. Today, a new chapter is being written, driven by a new force. The rapid warming of the globe, a consequence of human activity, is felt most acutely at the poles. The ice, which has defined this land for millions of years, is retreating. While a return to a forested Antarctica is beyond the horizon of our lifetimes, the change is undeniable, raising a chilling question. Is the continent's buried, temperate past a prologue to its future? With every retreating glacier, we witness a world in flux. The consequences ripple outward, threatening to redraw coastlines with rising sea levels and rewrite global weather patterns. Yet, within this crisis lies a paradox. As the ice relinquishes its grip, it unveils the secrets it has held for eons, perfectly preserved fossils and ancient landscapes that offer a window into Earth's deep history. This frozen archive, now unlocked, provides vital clues not only to our planet's past, but to the future it may be heading towards. Antarctica stands as a silent, immense testament to the impermanence of worlds, a reminder that even landscapes of ice are not eternal. But the pace of its current transformation, dictated by our hand, is a test of the Earth's systems on a scale never seen before.